I've always been into sport and doing any activity basically from the time I was very young. So I first started tennis when I was actually about 2 or 3 years old, and I would go to the squash court with my father because he couldn't be bothered picking the balls on the tennis court, so we'd play in the squash court. And then when I was about 5, he took me to a tennis court and I played for the first time, and I absolutely loved it. And I'd play lots of other sports like golf, swimming, horse riding, table tennis, any sport that I could be involved in, I was, and I absolutely loved it. And I started playing tennis competitively when I was about 8, and I won my first tournament when I was about 9 years old. And from that point on, it's just been, it was clear that tennis was the sport in which I had the most potential. And so while playing all my other sports as well for the longest time, I got into tennis, and it would just be tournament after tournament almost every week, and it was really a lot of fun. Whether I won or lost, it was just, I loved playing and I loved matches, and it was a really good experience at the beginning.
So like my sister said, we come from a family that's always been heavily involved in sports, and I followed my sister into most things that she's done from a very young age. So when she started playing tennis, I started playing tennis, and when she was about 9, she played her first tournament. So that year I didn't play, but the year after I did play, and since then I've been playing. And it was really tough for me at the start, but as I started getting older, I got into playing doubles more, and that's where I found myself winning more and actually enjoying myself more, because I like playing with someone else with me, and I find doubles more enjoying. So yeah, that's how I got into it.
Definitely not easy, and sometimes it's just really tiring and you feel really drained, but it's all about just focusing on what you have to do when you're doing it. And I think that's something I've really learned to master over the last few years, because my day typically would start with netball practice at 6 in the morning in school, then you have school and your lessons, and then after school you'd go for tennis by 3, and then if you'd have fitness or athletics or another sport after that, you just have to learn to balance that, and on top of everything else you have to learn to keep up your academic work as well. So I definitely think that it's about focus and just finding ways to stay motivated in what you're doing at the time. I would say for me it was definitely when my school netball team won the All-Island Netball Schools Championships last year. I've had some big achievements in tennis too that really do mean a lot to me, but that win with my team was just absolutely the best thing that could ever happen to me, because it was something that I dreamt of doing for about 4 or 5 years, and doing it with my team that had been with me from grade 7 was just absolutely everything. We made history for our school, and we were just so proud to put Ladies College on the school's netball map for the first time, and it was such a surreal experience, and we all just had the best time. And for me, I think nothing can compare with that feeling.
For me, it has to be the South Asian Games in 2019. It was the second time I had represented the country for tennis, and I was doing my O-levels at the time, so I had to sit my papers in Nepal at the embassy there while playing the matches. So it was, before we went, I was like so nervous. I was crying the night before, but I knew I had to do it, and this was an opportunity that I couldn't give up. So, and going there, and when we won, we came second and won a silver medal, so that was just everything to me. I never thought we'd get that far, especially given the circumstances, so I was extremely grateful for that.
One good thing about us is that we've never really been competitive against each other. I mean, we've had to play against each other in singles as well, but it's never been an issue for us. And in everything we do, there's always been a competition. Like, even if we go on holiday to a hotel, there'll be a race from the lift to the room. So everything about us is very, very competitive, but it's never been an issue. At the end of the day, no matter how much we've fought or had disagreements or had to play each other in competition, it always comes down to the fact that somehow we know that at the end of the day we only have each other, and we are definitely each other's motivation. For me, I wouldn't have achieved half of what I have if it wasn't for my sister sitting on the sidelines just cheering me, watching me, getting me through my darkest days. So there are times when we do have to play against each other, and at that point nobody would want to come near us, because for both of us it's all about winning. But at the end of the day, that only lasts just as long as the match lasts, and we don't fight as much as you'd think off the court.
I'm not sure. I wouldn't say that there's a particular person, because every time you get on court, you have to just play the ball. You're not playing the opponent, because if you go to do that, you will definitely get in trouble if you try to think of everything else that's happening around you. So I wouldn't say there is a particular person, because no matter how many times you've won, you could have won it 5 times in a row, no one's going to care. They're only going to care about that one time you lost. So if you go to think of who's on the other side of the court, you're going to get in trouble. So I wouldn't say that there is one particular person, but just stay in the moment and try to do what you can.
Similar for me. There are a couple of opponents that, of course, I think everybody, it's human nature to be more concerned about one or two players. But I think that there's really no match that you can take lightly, even if you're playing a 12-year-old who's unranked. At the end of the day, it comes, with tennis especially, I found that it comes down to the best man or woman on the day. So you really don't know which way a match could go. But I think definitely there's always going to be one or two players, if you've lost the previous time, or someone who's been improving lately, that's always going to be someone you find it hard to play against. I've had mostly really good experiences. They have really good facilities abroad. I'd say my favorite surface to play on is probably hard courts, and when I represented Sri Lanka at the Junior Commonwealth Games in 2017, the courts in the Bahamas were just absolutely, it seemed to be perfect for my game. It was so nice, and just like that, last year we went to China for a tournament, and there have been so many other places that have really good facilities and courts, and I think that's just really, it's an amazing experience, because you get to, and we're not always used to playing on all these different surfaces, and so it's all about learning to adapt and play no matter what the circumstances might be. And we've also had to play on some courts that aren't as great, so there's certain tournaments we've been to in India and certain areas where we've really had to face tough challenges, not only to do with the opponents, but also because of the courts being not what we would expect, and even climate issues. But these are all things that playing internationally teaches you to overcome. I would say probably my favorite was the Asian Games. It's probably the biggest tournament I played, and I lost in the second round to the top seed. And even though I lost, that experience was just, it really showed me what international competitive women's tennis was like. And it's absolutely another world, and that match really gave me the opportunity to play against players that normally I would have no chance of playing against in Sri Lanka or even abroad. So that was probably my best, maybe not my most successful international tournament, but it was definitely one of the most memorable.
I definitely have to say from school I've learned perseverance against all odds, for sure. Like, you learn that there are challenges that are going to come at you, but you have to face them head on. There's no avoiding them. You have to accept what comes and make the best of everything that you have, and be thankful for the opportunities and grateful for everything you already have. And I've definitely learned balance when it comes to my extracurriculars and my studies, and I find that will be invaluable for me in the future. So that's definitely something I've learned from my school.
For me, it's the friends I've made in the teams I've been a part of. The best thing I'd say about our school is that because it's small, relatively small, and we have so many activities, especially for inter-house, you can take part in sports like a tennis player like me who's not the best swimmer can take part in inter-house water polo or badminton, and those experiences build friendships that are just the best things that could possibly have happened to you that you would never have had without sport. And I think that's one really amazing thing about our school. And more than anything, you learn that as an LCite, nothing can stop you from getting what you want. If you work hard, you'll get there in the end, and whatever might be thrown your way, whatever might try to push you down or make you doubt yourself, here I feel Ladies College has really taught us that we are overcomers and that we can face whatever challenges life throws at us and overcome.
Yes, so I'd like to thank all our teachers. Without them, we would have never got this far. We have some amazing teachers here at LCM. We're so grateful. I'd like to thank our principal and our vice principal for always supporting us, and obviously all our school coaches for all their advice throughout the years. And I definitely want to thank my parents, because without them, I feel like Anika and I both know we wouldn't have got anywhere. They have really pushed us and supported us and guided us throughout everything that we've had to face. And definitely my friends who definitely have helped me throughout all these years. When you go for tournaments, they'll always be there for you, checking up on you, and that's something that I couldn't have done without. So I would like to thank all those people.
For me, I first have to give all the glory to God for our success, because both of us believe that we wouldn't have achieved everything comes from Him, and we've been truly blessed to have achieved everything that we have. And of course, my parents, who didn't let me quit even when I really felt that I couldn't go anymore. And it's because of their support and push that we are where we are today. And my coaches, who have been there with me throughout. Even my coaches have had to learn to balance my extracurricular activities with their schedules. And I've been blessed with really amazing friends, people who have inspired me to keep going through the way they persevere in their lives and their sport. And I feel truly grateful to have been surrounded by all these people. I would just like to say, I think sport is essential for anyone below the age of 10. You make some of your best memories playing sport. You make some of your best friends by joining sports teams in school. And for those going into competition and who aspire to play internationally or for the country, I just want to say, remember that perseverance is really key, and that sometimes you're going to have bad days, maybe even bad weeks, and you're going to be told that you can't do it. But at the end of the day, it boils down to you. If you feel that this is something you want to do and you feel that you can do it, then just never let anybody else tell you otherwise. Believe in yourself and do what makes you happy, because at the end of the day, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, if you're not having fun, then there's really no point doing it. And it's so hard, especially when it comes to sport, because you're sacrificing so many things. You're sacrificing your time in school with your friends, you're stressing out about academic work. It's really, really tough when you're playing nationally, internationally. So it's all about finding ways to stay inspired and staying in the game.